Okay, now I'm gonna read from my book. I'm just gonna open it up and just read from it. Now, this is page 133. Ship size, and the creator of this wave comes in the peace of the road, but they of evil's toil brings the force of hell as it roars ashore, and the peaceful force of God's love's roll is confused with the angry wave's fury. But this is where we of feet must check the stance of our foot's position within its stance. Because we of Exodus, understanding know of its start, but can't seem to understand how, if or when the Exodus ended, or if it ever really ended within its ending, or if it ever ended at all, or are we all within the middle of its truest ending? But are we being of our past, and instead of embracing our future, we re-embrace the ignorance of our ancestors' past, for which they spoke within the ears of the new birth, and spoil the future fruit, so that the fruit once sweet will grow old and stupid, instead of grow wiser in age, so that they of wise age could build upon the vine of knowledge a even wiser grape, so that the wine of said grapes upon this knowledgeable vine would be able to grow a knowledgeable vine of future knowledgeable grapes, and the grapes as well as the vine would spin and twist around each other, dropping knowledgeable grapes within vinely knowledge earlier and earlier within its harvest, for which would one day make the vine and the grapes of the vine a leader of the vine of divine knowledge. But they of the most simplest of things complicate the things so simply that we of civil understanding, being from civil understanding, are trying to use civil sense within a barbaric era from which sense wasn't commonly used. And this has caused the exodus of Moses to become parted within its own understanding, because of the many Moseses of this era's exodus, for which led by ear from a deaf ear, and not by sight of their blessed it sight, for which outlaws the grapes upon their vine's knowledge to perish along its vine's root, because the grapes burst but a bitter juice when the grapes upon the vine compete for the soul of its own vine within the knowledge fed to the grape from the grape's own vine. This allows the devil to confuse the grape within its own vine's timeline, and the grape act barbarically instead of understand a barbaric look. But the grape of the vine's knowledge dripping of knowledge upon the grapes of the vine, as it gives the grapes of the vine of knowledge all timelines from beginning to middle to end, so that the grapes of knowledge's vine can face and then defeat the barbaric actions of a barbarian's act with only a barbaric look towards the barbarian, accompanied by the brilliance of one's understanding of the times within one's beautiful citizenship of written penmanship. Now that's my testimony in the gift, right? Now, see, so why is not my testimony in my timeline, right, relevant in my time? See, people say that I'm ahead of my time. And I'm saying, well, if this is my timeline, why can't I make something out of the time if this is my time? You see what I'm saying? But if I don't take my life's time, which is on this timeline, right? Now let's see, let's look up timeline. See, because it's in that book right there, but that wasn't in that page. Now timeline. See, this is what I'm saying. This book is a teacher's manual to become me. A timeline defined as a table listing important events from successive years within a particular historical period. So this is my historical period, and I'm setting the table with the Florida Constitution, the United States Constitution, the Florida Bill of Rights, the United States Bill of Rights, the United States Declaration of Independence, statutory law, and the Civil Rights Act of 64, in the civil and criminal courthouses in Seminole and Orange counties in the state of Florida on August 12, 2008 at 10:40 in the morning, as well as in the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida on February 20th in 2018 at 9:20 in the morning. See, that's when I became a particular element in this historical period. See, this is what I'm saying. If you take me out of history, then did not this generation make up history? See, how can this generation deny my existence and say that this generation exists within the existence of God? So what God would then deny me in this generation? If I went into court and I then claimed this generation as my own, why would this generation then put any God before me? If Jesus went into the judgment hall, where he didn't go in, he was taken in, right, by the high priest. But I went into court. That was my plan, to go into court and then reveal myself to my people.